Okay.
You need to wait.
Because
Which one is vanilla plus?
So could you tell them to wait? No, that's good. Today.
new sets. We are coming in now. So while we coming, guys. विश्वजाय तस्मै शिखराय नमः शिवाय ओम वशिष्ठ खम्बोध भव गौतमराय मुनीन्द्र देव सीत शेखराय चंद्राय कवैशनारलोचनाय तस्मै वाकराय नमः शिवाय ओम यज्ञस्वरूपाय जटाधरे पिनाकासाय सनातने यज्ञाय देवाय दिगंबराय तस्मै नखराय नमः शिवाय You can all take your seats. Om Gajananam Bhuttaganath Sevitam Kapit Jumbo Palachara Bhakshanam Omasatam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Pada Panjakam Om Vinakaya Namam Om Vignarajaya Namah. Family and friends, when we have ceremonies like this, celebrations of life, as we are going to do, we start with prayer. Can we all just bow our heads in prayer and let us pray? Om Gajananam Bhuttaganath Sevitam Kapit Jambo Palachara Bhakshanam Omasutam Shoka Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Padapanjakam Om Shivaya Gauri Vadana Vranda Suryaya Dakshineshwara Nashakaya Shri Nilakantaya Vishwajaya Tasmai Shri Karaya Namah Shivaya Om Ulagalamunan Odak Variyavan Nilavulaviyan Nirmalivediyan Malagal Sodiyan Amalattuadu that is prayer done. And we've invoked God's grace here at the ceremony, at the celebration of life. I now want to hand over to the Master of Ceremonies to conduct this celebration of life. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, friends and family. We have gathered here to pay tribute to Gopal Krishna Reddy, known to all of us as Uncle Krish. Uncle Krish was a larger-than-life individual, and none of us imagined that we would be laying him to rest today. He leaves behind his loving wife, Auntie Saroj, children Loshita, Prashanta, son-in-law Suhen, grandchildren Kashmiri and Tarini, and sister Auntie Leela. The way we're going to proceed now is that the Guru will open the lid, and all of us, whoever wants to, in an orderly manner, view the face, and thereafter we'll proceed with the rest of the program.
Dear family and friends, so I'm going to open the casket. We'd appreciate, because all the family are seated on that side, you come on my left, pay your respects, and then you can offer your condolences, give them the support, and take your seats. Okay, so we can go in orderly. Thank you.
As you proceed, those of you that have not viewed or paid your respects, please do so now. And we'd like to continue. We have a few speakers this afternoon or this morning. But before that, just to inform you, the ablution facilities are on the behind this curtain in the back. And after the ceremony, there is tea and light refreshments that are provided at the lapa on my left. So please do partake in that. Okay, our first speaker, we'd like to call upon Daya.
Members of the bereaved family, Auntie Saroj and family, Auntie Leela, relatives and friends. We gathered here today to bid farewell to Uncle Krish. But whilst we are gathered here today to bid farewell, and as the priest mentioned in his opening statement, we're also here to celebrate his life. My name is Daya Chetty. I am Uncle Krish's nephew, being his sister's son. Uncle Krish succumbed to diabetes on the 8th of January 2024. He would have celebrated his 82nd birthday on the 14th of February. Uncle Krish was the 7th child of my grandparents, Ratan Sami and Mowgli Reddy of Verulam in KZN. He decided to follow in his father's footsteps and trained to be a teacher after matriculating from Verulam High in the late 50s. With the assistance from my late dad, his first teaching post was at the E.P. Modley Primary School in one of the most remotest parts of Port Shepstone. But he soon missed his family and friends, and after a year of teaching, he got a post at the South African Sugar Association Experiment Station, and this was much closer to home. Like many of his siblings, he had a flair for mathematics and science. But having said that, he also had a flair for English. He wrote well and often lambasted politicians in various letters to the editors. And we were also not exempt from the firing line. Uncle Krish moved from the experiment station to greener pastures, but perhaps the most rewarding challenge for him was his stint at Eskom, from where he retired as a financial officer in 2007. Uncle Krish married Auntie Saroj, and together they had two beautiful daughters, Loshita and Prashanta, of whom he was immensely proud and fond of. Both his children did him proud, Loshi qualifying with a BCom and Prashanta as a medical doctor. Loshi moved to Australia with her husband Suhail and two daughters Tashmiri and Tariri. Needless to say, his granddaughters were the apple of his eye, and whenever I visited him, he would affectionately speak of their achievements, both at school and extracurricular activities. I must admit, I felt a bit neglected after they came along. In the sporting field, Uncle Krish always boasted about his prowess on the cricket pitch. He played at team level, and his main strength was as a spin bowler. He often bragged about his record of taking 9 wickets in one match. If only he played it for South Africa, the World Cup final. He loved sports in general, and when I visited him in September last year, he was so excited that there was a Rugby World Cup and Cricket World Cup running concurrently. He used to be so caught up watching the games that I believe his commentary was heard as far afield as Pretoria. Like many of us, he was convinced that South Africa would win both the Rugby and Cricket World Cup. So convinced was he that he took a bet for South Africa to win both the Rugby and Cricket World Cups. But sadly, only the bookmakers won. Whilst Uncle Krish supported South Africa on the sports front, the same cannot be said of his political support. He was deeply critical of all political parties, and no one would be spared, including the president. For those that followed Uncle Krish on Facebook, you would have seen his various posts, both critical and even words of advice, and sometimes words of advice to the president. In fact, he felt so strongly of his views that while being hospitalized during 22-23, he spent much of his time sharing his views with the nurses. Uncle Krish was always a live wire at family get-togethers. He loved a good game of Tani, and I do recall a fair amount of four-ball against him. During our New Year's Eve gatherings, he enjoyed a bit of dancing. However, I recall at many a New Year's party, just prior to midnight, Uncle Krish would burn his packet of cigarettes, claiming that this was the last, only to be smoking again within a week. But this continued for a few years until he finally quit completely. He loved his food. Good food, but prepared well. And I sometimes think I got a gene from him. But he also loved food prepared by Britannia Hotel. I recall his visit to us in Durban over the fasting period. Of course, there was no meat being prepared at home. And he was to travel back to Johannesburg with his other nephew, Suren. But he insisted that Suren had to purchase a mutton bunny from Britannia first, before picking him up on his journey back to Johannesburg. The moment he entered Suren's vehicle, he started digging into the bunny. Whenever I phoned to say that I was coming up to Johannesburg to visit, and I asked him what he'd liked from Durban, first was trotters and beans from Britannia. Never mind, I was traveling 600 kilometers. And secondly, if it was in December, leeches from Lychee Syndicate. Not from Verulam, his hometown, but from Lychee Syndicate. Uncle Krish had a bit of an adventurous spirit. He liked fishing, but I always listened to those stories with a bit of skepticism. He had many friends, many of whom he grew up within his beloved hometown of Verulam. The Akbar family, who lived next door, were amongst the closest of his friends. They were part of his family. Krish was widely traveled. As a bachelor, he sometimes traveled with his friends across the country and to neighboring Lorenzo Marques. He also traveled overseas to Australia, India, and Canada. However, I believe his most memorable trip was his cruise on the QE2 with his brother Uncle Namsu and Auntie Vaski. But he always boasted about how he won the poker tournament on the ship and the delight it brought to his brother Uncle Namsu. As a family man, he always maintained a sense of responsibility, although he could be very difficult and challenging at times. but he always meant well. He had a wry sense of humor. We'll always remember him as being a very straightforward person who never pulled his punches. If you crossed the line, he would tell you so in no uncertain terms. But trust me, he was a man who dearly loved his family. In fact, he loved his family so much, and in an attempt to preserve the Reddy lineage, he initiated the Reddy family tree and spent many countless hours building the tree as much as possible. Yes, he used to harass family members to join and input their information. I recall on a few occasions receiving a tongue lashing for not logging on or inputting information. And when you got the call and his first words were, "What's the matter, what's the matter?" then you know that you're in trouble. I know that this information of the family tree will be of value, particularly to generations still to come, and to help to trace one's family history. I can only hope and pray that we continue to build on the legacy that Uncle Krish started. We shall miss the healthy, boisterous debates around many topical issues. His forthright views on these issues were sometimes debatable, but always interesting. On behalf of the family, we would like to express our sincere appreciation to Auntie Saroj and Prashanta for taking such excellent care of Uncle Krish, particularly in the last year when his health deteriorated. There were many sleepless nights, countless visits to the hospital. All this while Auntie Saroj herself was not well, having had an operation, and Prashanta still needing to be at work, but they gave it their all. But we also know that while Loshi, Suen, and the girls were many miles away in Australia, their support was always available. Just that phone call from his granddaughters was healing in itself. Our appreciation also goes out to his sister Auntie Leela and Diren for always being there for helping Uncle Krish, Auntie Saroj and Prashanta whenever help was needed. Uncle Krish, may God grant you your soul peace and serenity. May God grant the family peace and much love. Farewell until we meet again. Thank you, but can I read a note by Auntie Leela that she put together? As many of you will know, Krish was a member of a large family growing up in Verulam. What may be less known is that he was undoubtedly and incredibly attached to our mother. So much so that he insisted on accompanying her wherever she went. Even at that young age, there would be a huge noise made if there was any chance that he would be left behind. He would start howling and fussing until she had little choice but to take him along. This affectionate connection to his mother never abated, and when he was older, he would have the expectation, fair or not, that his mother be waiting for him at the door when he was scheduled to return home from school. Again, her absence would lead to a barrage of questions as to why she was not on duty. Growing up in Verulam, we were fortunate enough to have a large yard surround the house, and as children, we took every advantage of the space. Many hours were spent playing games together outside, such as the ever famous 3 tins, marbles, and 3 holy, etc. Krish was especially passionate about cricket and played many matches as part of local cricket clubs. Playing together extended indoors as well as with the family carom board, cards, and other board games. Krish was quite talented in all these games and would feature in all of them. Apart from his skills at games, he was also an avid gardener, planting onions and mealies. His hard work was met with a tasty harvest, after which he would roast the mealies over an open fire. His talents extended to dancing as well, and he is fondly remembered teaching me and our neighbors the steps to the cha-cha. These anecdotes serve to reinforce the love that Krish had for family and the importance that he placed on the role of the family. If he could have his way, he would have had all the family members living in a single house with no one moving out. He lived for his family and would never hesitate to help any one of this precious group of people. Such as he was, his booming voice, loud laughter, and cheeky quips will be missed by all. We can only wish him a peaceful onward journey and pray that my mother is waiting for him at the next door. Farewell to you, my brother, till we meet again, Leela. Thank you.
Thank you, Daya. We will be continuing with a few hymns. listening to Daya reminded me of being on the receiving end of Uncle Krish as well. Whenever he called and you missed his call, he would send you an email or an SMS, and thereafter phone you again to ask you, why didn't you take his call? No explanation could be understood by him. And he would insist that he is more important than the state president when you get a call. So you got to take his call. With that, I'd like to call upon Ishwar, who will pay his tribute. Thank you.
Tribute to my late Uncle Krish. Uncle Krish was a very compassionate and caring person when it came to family. Although he was hard with everyone around him, but there was always a soft and jovial side of him. For the family and friends and relatives that knew him would know better. He loved people, and whenever you are around him, you would hear the loud and gruffiest voice you know, that is Uncle Krish. He loved his family to bits and pieces. He loved to talk, especially when it came to politics, sports, the good old days when he stayed in Marburg, Bedlam. He loved his family to bits and pieces. He had a passion for good food and not forgetting all the sweet stuff. At times when I visited him, we would sit and chat for hours. His best friend was my mum. And when it came to two sisters, he would always gang against them and argue, and later on have a good laugh about it. He loved to travel, and when he retired, he always dreamt about going on the QE2, which he has done and fulfilled. At the time when his heart took a turn, he was unable to stand or walk for a very long time, but he never gave up. Always positive and determined to get back. He always felt sorry for Auntie Saroj, Krish, Losh, for taking the utmost care and comfort during his times of illness. To my Auntie Saroj, Prashant, Losh, Suen, Tarini, and Teshmari. Papa is in a better place. His presence may not be around, but his memories will always be in your hearts.
Thank you, Ishwar. We would continue with more music.
next we have a collage that was prepared by Loshita, Prashanta, Tashmiri, Acharini. We thought it's a fitting tribute to play something that resonates with Uncle Krish, which is togetherness, family, and also music. And I think Uncle Krish would love to do things his way. So we'll kick off the collage, but I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Suhail. Uncle Krish was a very prolific sports person on the field and also on the couch, to the point where he could give you statistics of players or all the other sportsmen. There was a time when he was very involved in horse racing, knowing the names of the horses, etc. But this was before the advent of computers, or the personal computer. He put together a manual that had the statistics of horses from birth to the day they ran, including the jockeys, their trainers, etc. It was a book that preceded what you call a computer form now. And in fact, I think he was the person that started the computer form, giving you every single detail about a horse and the results. Such was Uncle Krish's meticulous endeavors. If he started something, he made sure it ended. With those few words, I'd like to call upon Kanta.
Morning, everybody. Before I say a few words, I'd like to read a message from my niece, Kavi, who resides in Adelaide. Uncle Krish had immense passion for family, sports, and politics, which always led to very engaging conversations. The dedication he showed to getting things done for his immediate and extended family was very moving. He was ready to help anyone in need. I remember all the times he used to help my dad, especially with any paperwork for his medical requirements. We are forever grateful for that support. I also remember the times when my mother, Uncle Krish's sister, used to make your favorite foods. None of us were allowed to have until you took your share. You were always so grateful for these simple things in life. And my grand treasured these moments with you as you often reminisce together. You always got people laughing, which is why your larger-than-life personality will be sorely missed. Farewell, Uncle Krish. May you rest in peace. That comes with much love from Kavi, Bio, and Keaton. Uncle Krish, so many things come to mind. His larger-than-life personality, his always lively conversation, his controversial statements that spark heated debate with family and friends, but also much fun and laughter, as we can attest to. His smile, and of course, his big heart. But I will remember Uncle Krish most for his deep and unwavering love for his brothers and sisters, his nieces and nephews, and most of all, for the pure joy and happiness that his own family, especially his two beautiful granddaughters, brought him. His smile and pride when he spoke about them was a beautiful thing to see. I personally will always choose to remember the loud, smiling, happiest when surrounded by his family, Uncle Krish. We will all miss Uncle Krish, his voice, his strong opinions, his absolute loyalty for family, and his love and care for all who knew him. To Auntie Saroj, Losh, Prashanta, Suhen, and the girls, I pray that God gives you the courage and strength to get over this devastating loss. But know that we are all here for you always. And as Uncle Krish would say, family is everything. A lesson for all of us to hold and to hold on to and live by. Go well, Uncle Krish. You will forever be in our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you, Kanta. tribute to Uncle Krish. Dear Uncle Krish, or Key Uncle as we fondly called him when we were little. Growing up, I have very fond memories of you. Every time you spoke to me, I wasn't sure if you were scolding me or having a normal conversation. But that's just because of the way you spoke. Only those of us who knew you well would know what I mean. I remember my brothers and I spending school holidays with you and Auntie Saroj in Isapingo, and later on coming over with Vani to Karosan. You were always in your glory when your nieces and nephews came over for a stay. Last year, when I called you on your birthday, you excitedly said to me that when you win the lotto, you will take me on a holiday. Unfortunately, that lotto win never came your way. Uncle Krish, in the past year or so, you have fought a tough fight, but now it's time to rest. Go well, Uncle Krish. It's time once again to join your parents, siblings, nieces and nephews. To Auntie Saroj and the children, may God give you the strength and support during this very trying time. You are in my thoughts and prayers. Lots of love from Devika and family. I now call upon Suhen.
Thank you, Prabha. Dear families, family and friends, I am Suhen Pata, the son-in-law of Mr. Gopal Krishna Reddy. We are gathered here today to pay tribute to my father-in-law, Uncle Krish, who was a remarkable man and a loving family member. He passed away this week, leaving behind a legacy of kindness, courage, and wisdom. I met Uncle Krish when I married his eldest daughter, Losh, and he welcomed me into his family with open arms. He was always easy to talk to, and he had a great sense of humor and a wealth of stories to share. He was a big man with a big heart who loved his family, his roots, and his passion for sports, work, and politics in no particular order. Uncle Krish worked at Eskom in the billing team, which he loved. He played cricket for Eskom and Valum, where he often shared that he once took all 10 wickets in a cricket match. And if I can remember correctly, I think he said, "We've lost the match." He was a man who knew everyone and would say that he had thousands of friends. That is evident by the presence of all of you here today who have come to say goodbye to him. He was a man who was ambitious and principled, always striving to achieve more and standing up for what he believed was right. He had strong opinions and values, and he was not afraid to voice them, even if it meant facing challenges or difficulties. He was a man who was loyal and devoted, always cherishing his extended family and keeping in touch with them regularly. He even started the Reddy family tree, where he persevered to get everyone involved to share memories about the Reddy family and their history. He was a man who was creative and expressive, always writing beautiful poems, articles, and letters to express his thoughts and feelings. Uncle Krish was a man who taught us many things, such as how to live, work hard, cherish your family, stand up for yourself, and enjoy the simple things in life, and that's people. Uncle Krish left us with many happy memories and valuable lessons. He will be greatly missed, but he will never be forgotten. Uncle, you will always be in our hearts and in our mind. Thank you. We also have a few words from people that couldn't be here today. So there's a friend, Trevor Govender, who wanted to share some words about Uncle Krish. He said, "Hi Prashanta, just wanted to convey our heartfelt condolences. We knew Dad since my joining Eskom in 2001. until retirement. In fact, he was key to me being employed at Eskom. At the time, I was working in Zimbabwe, and Eskom was unable to reach me for an interview. Dad somehow got HR to connect with me, and I was successful with securing the job. To me, it demonstrated a man with a big heart. We had built a friendship over years. He was vocal in both lip and pen, had deep political and sporting knowledge. He used to speak with great pride about you and your sister, and I recall the efforts he put towards both of yours education. He was proud of your achievements. He will be sorely missed. We pray God's strength and comfort upon you and the family during this difficult time. God bless Trevor and Sharon. I also wanted to share a message from a very dear friend from Uncle Krish from Veldam, Kudus Bucks. He's a childhood friend and neighbor. I was very sad to hear about Krish's passing away. It stayed with me through the night. I spent many happy years with Krish from the age of 5. I lived alone with my grandparents. Krish and the Reddy family lived next door. Every day I was next door. It was my second home, to the anger of my granny. I regarded Krish as a brother. He was not only warm, but very bossy. Anyone who knew him will tell you that I did not mind. He was full of ideas and never dull. Great sportsman. We played football together with other neighbors. He had a patch of ground hoed out in the large plot bordering the Ganesh temple with a plantation of mango, Doni rose apple, and other fruit. After the game, we were up in the trees. A big black temple dog would be after us. The barking will get angry Mrs. Reddy, Krish's mum, after us. We had to get down. Another imaginative idea of Krish was playing homemade carts, pushed by a stick, axles turned by string. Wheels were Mrs. Reddy's used wooden cotton reels. Winding roads were made around the trees in the yard. Big brother Swida was our hero who nailed out the different cart shapes. This sporting spirit made Krish excel in cricket, especially as a spin bowler. His enthusiasm kept the local mission team do well in Veldam cricket tournaments. When we walked the town street, Krish was very popular. People will stop and praise him. He was very adventurous as well as game for all activities. The river Amshloti was our playground. It was deep then, up to our armpits. We loved swimming in it, fishing for mullet and shrimps. Outdoor life was so exciting and very safe, and the way to Canaan's Namsu, Tama, and many other friends joined us. We used to walk to the La Mercy beach 5 miles away. Later holidayed in tents by the beach. It was a very exciting life, and Krish and I lived life to the full. He was that sort of a spirit. So long, my dear friend and brother. I will always treasure my good memories of you as a spirit that traveled with me through our life together. I also had a great respect for you as a husband, a father, a family man with a dedicated wife, Saroj, and high-achieving daughters. Rest in peace, and we hope to continue our adventures in the next world. God bless. I've also got a few more speeches. So we have Uncle Krish's nephew, Pranavan Naidu, and niece, Karusha Ganga from Australia, who wanted to also share a few words. Our dearest Uncle Krish, we were shocked to hear the tragic news of your passing. As you reminded us of so many times before, all bets were on. You were going to beat the Queen of England, overtaking her 96 years. None would have taken that bet as your larger-than-life persona seemed immune to the passage of time. Sadly, your time was shortened, and you had to depart, leaving an unmistakable void. You have been an incredibly caring uncle that we all come to lean on for support over the years. We thank you for your love, fierce spirit, and sense of humor. Our lives will never be the same again. May your soul rest in peace with your precious loved ones who have gone before you, and know that you will never be forgotten. With love from Pranavan Naidu and family in Sydney, and Karisha Ganga and family in Melbourne, Australia. I would also like to say a few words written by Losh and Prashanta. Dearest Pa, you may have made your presence felt wherever you went, but on Monday, the 8th of January, 2024, you left us quietly. You have a good excuse for missing the elections this year. One upside, Cyril, you may have some time now to work on your country rather than read your emails. You will be very happy with the past few days after your passing. The house has been filled with the sound of family and friends, and you love the most in the world, and that is togetherness. We are proud to listen to all the stories of the people who you have helped over the years, of which you were always reluctant to share with us. Thank you for all that you have done for us. You have given us our love for politics, sports, and so much more. We have been reflecting on your 82 years of life on this earth and feel happy that yours was a life well lived. Lots of misadventures, but lessons learned from it. You had many triumphs because of the determining and obstinate person you were. You saw a lot of sadness, but there was joy too. Your granddaughters were your biggest treasures. Your last few years may not have been the easiest for you, but you can rest now, Pa. We hope that you are catching up with your dear mother, Mowgli, and sharing stories of your grandchildren with her over a nice cup of tea and the sweetest biscuits. You will never be forgotten, Pa. You were truly one of a kind. Your daughters, Losh and Prashanta. And lastly, I would like to say a few words from my daughters, Tashmiri and Tarini. Hi, Tata. We are sad you are gone, and we will miss you always. Thank you for always making us laugh and encouraging us to work hard at school and play sports as much as possible. If you had it your way, we will be playing and winning at Wimbledon, or playing cricket at Lord's, or maybe raising the World Cup soccer trophy. We will always love you. Just one thing, Tata, we are still waiting for a response on your email. Your loving granddaughters, Tashmiri and Tarini. Such beautiful words from everyone, and I thank you, which I am sure resonates with all of you and personal stories you have of Uncle Krish. Thank you.
Thank you, Suhen. Before I hand you over to the officiating priest, Guru Jay, I'd just like to inform every one of you to please partake in the teas and refreshments that have been provided at the Lapa alongside this hall. Thereafter, we will proceed to the Brixton crematorium for cremation at 2 o'clock. So the service here will end at 12. We'd like all of you to join us for tea and refreshments, and thereafter proceeding to the Brixton Cemetery. Guruji.
Dear family and friends, just before we can close off, if there's any one of you that have not paid your respects, and if there are any of you that may not be accompanying us to the crematorium, and you want to come through again and pay your respects, you're welcome to do so. We'll give you the next 5 to 7 minutes to do that. Once that is done, then we'll do the final prayer and proceed to the hearse. Thank you. You can come through and pay your final respects. For those may not be coming with us, or for those that have just come in and not paid their respects. Thanks.
On behalf of Auntie Saroj and the family, we'd like to place our sincere thanks, every one of you, for your messages of condolence and your support during this trying time. Thank you.
Can the pallbearers come forward, please?
Dear family and friends, while the pallbearers are getting in readiness, can we bow our heads in prayer? As I finish the prayer, you can please lovingly arise and let them walk out. We bow our heads in prayer. Om Shivaya Gauri Vadana Vrindha Suryaya Dakshineshwarana Shikaya Shri Nilakantaya Vishwajaya Tasmai Shri Karaya Namah Shivaya Om Om Kalaprim Harudaprim Vasindegi Varnaprim Ninayaprim Denaitaruprim
Om Namah Shivaya.